It's come of no surprise to any of you who have been watching my videos about Brexit that one of the things that is going to massively unstick Brexit is the Northern Irish border question. And so today we ask this simple question. How do you solve a problem? How do you solve a problem like the Irish border? It's the question that Brexiteers can't avoid tackling. And they can't. They have ignored this question continuously. Pre-Brexit and now, well, pre-referendum and now post-referendum. They've just basically bluntly ignored this entire fact and the Good Friday Agreement. Bluntly, if you have a divergence of goods, agriculture and many other regulatory areas, you have to have some form of customs checks. And while those checks might largely be done via camera, or let's give the Brexiteers the benefit of the doubt, new technologies like drones or old ones like Zeppelins, the nature of the customs checks is that you have to have customs officials who will have to go out and enforce those rules. For all those in Westminster that talk about the conflict in Northern Ireland as finished, there are still occasional acts of terrorist violence on the border. Signs are regularly defaced and occasionally shot at. Whichever customs apparatus is put on the border, it will come under attack. Whether from a drunken idiot throwing a brick or letting a shot off, or a deliberate attack. And at some point, so will customs officials be shot at. Then it's a question of what do you do next? Do you send someone to protect the cameras or the officials? Are they armed? Are they local? What happens to those people? Those people are attacked. Although the ending of the customs frontier when the customs union came into force in 1992, it did not end the militarised frontier between Northern Ireland and the Republic, and restoring it won't bring it back overnight. It does mean the reopening of a wound. The Conservatives have said they don't want a hard border, and neither does the EU 27. More importantly, it is unlikely any Irish government will be able to avoid vetoing any deal that creates a hard border, which I've said numerous times on this channel and yet gets completely ignored when people talk about this. There are several ways to avoid a customs frontier on the island of Ireland. At the bare minimum, one of the Guardian reveals will be set out in the EU 27's negotiating objectives is for Northern Ireland to remain de facto in the single market and customs union, and for the border to move to the Irish Sea. That is unacceptable to the bulk of Conservative MPs and of course the DUP. If you want to avoid a new border in the Irish Sea, then the rest of the United Kingdom has to follow Northern Ireland remaining in large parts of the single market and the customs union. That too is unacceptable to a large number of Conservative MPs too. The government likes to accuse Jeremy Corbyn of living in a fantasy world, but the reality cannot be overstated enough that collectively Conservative MPs have ruled out all of the real world options. They don't want a hard border, they don't want a unique customs and regulatory agreement for Northern Ireland, they don't want a customs union or regulatory alignment for the whole of the United Kingdom, and they don't want to remain in the EU. It comes to the biggest problem of Brexit. The governing party wants it very badly in theory, but recoils in it in practice, preferring to live in a series of fantasies. They, and unfortunately everyone else who lives in this country, may be on course for a very painful awakening when the Article 50 clock reaches zero. And this is the problem. The Good Friday Agreement lays it out very clearly. Both the Republic and Northern Ireland must be aligned market-wise, and it must be enshrined in British law. If they do not do that, then the government breaks the Good Friday Agreement and could potentially bring to an end the peace that had largely been coming to Northern Ireland. You could potentially, after Brexit, we could see a reignition of the Troubles and IRA terrorist attacks we have not seen for years. But do the Brexiteers care? No. They don't care, and they are living in, as I said there, this is the statement you've got to take away from this, is that it cannot be overstated enough that collectively Conservative MPs have ruled out all real-world options.